Hello, I'm Eugene Rao from the city of Timișoara, Romania. I want to present my view regarding the humans in exploring the space, and the title of my exposure is The Synchronisation Gap, a realist perspective on human space flight, summary of the disconnect between biological evolution and intellectual ambition. 1. The evolutionary mismatch. Biological fixedness visa mental leaps. The primary observation is the profound gap between our hardware, the human body and brain, and our capacity for abstract thought. Static hardware. Our biological systems have been refined over eons at a steady, slow pace to function within thousands of specific Earth-bound parameters. We are not opposed to space, we are simply fine-tuned to a terrestrial frequency. Leaping mind, our thinking can make giant leaps, envisioning futures and destinations that our physical selves cannot inhabit without extreme risk. This isn't a psychiatric hallucination, but a natural consequence of a mind that can outpace its own biological foundation. 2. The reality of the fine-tuned organism. The summary rejects the idea of a battle against the void of space. Instead, it highlights that human life is dependent on a delicate web of terrestrial conditions, the fragility of the Earth link. When we leave Earth, we don't just face danger, we leave the only environment where our thousands of biological requirements are met naturally. The efficiency of robots. Robots are viewed as the logical successor to exploration because they do not share these biological constraints. They are not burdened by the regret of leaving a home they were built for, nor do they require the staggering resources needed to simulate Earth environment elsewhere. 3. The urgency of the now and the here. Rather than chasing the mental leap of multiplanetary life, the focus should shift to immediate survival of the species on its home planet, postponing extinction. The most realistic and pressing goal is to delay the moment of extinction by managing the Earth more wisely. Resource misalignment, spending astronomical sums on human missions to ash deposits like the Moon or Mars, is seen as a diversion from the critical task of terrestrial stewardship. We are currently failing to manage the day after tomorrow on the planet we were actually designed for. 4. Intellectual realism and the great filter. The perspective is not one of being against space exploration, but rather a realization of our inherent limitations. Intraspecies competition. We remain the species that has not yet evolved to collaborate effectively. We use resources as tools of competition. Tribalism rather than for collective longevity. The silent filter. If a great filter exists, it does not announce itself. Our best defense is not to flee, but to acknowledge our hardware limitations and fix the problems of our primitive societies before we exhaust our only viable habitat. 5. Final reflection. A sense of regret. The discussion concludes with a sober realization. We have a species that can dream of the stars but is physically tethered to the soil. There is a certain regret in acknowledging that our bodies cannot follow where our thoughts can go. We are a transitional species, highly intelligent, yet still governed by the instincts and physical needs of the earth-bound mammals we are. Thank you. Bye bye.